Social media in 2023 for local business has changed quite a bit. I mean, it's still the same stuff: Facebook, Instagram, you add in TikTok, LinkedIn, etc., all the fun stuff. The big thing to think about when you go in and work on your social media from a local business is a couple of things. You know, the three things that you always want to focus in on are your fundamentals. And the fundamentals start with being able to be found on Google first, right? Your social media will help you from a brand perspective, help educate your prospective clients on what type of services you provide, pricing, everything else you can think of. But ultimately, you always want to get an ROI from your social. So what you see many times is large companies, checking off the box, so to speak, where they're leveraging social media from a branding perspective, stay top of mind. Local companies can do the same thing, but you really want to think about it from, is my website correct? Am I found in search? Is my local SEO good? Before you really start to pull an ROI from social. Now there's caveats to that, just like everything else. Can you run Instagrams and make money and do well? Absolutely. But that'll start to peter out in a local market because people get ad fatigue. So you want to make sure you start with your fundamentals and then move into social so that you can complete that customer journey. And normally that customer journey for local starts with a search. It starts with the top. They Google you, they find you, then they start to go through everything else. And if you have retargeting in there, it can be very powerful for you. But your social should just affirm their choice in going with your company or going to your establishment. Those types of things can be done relatively easily if the fundamentals are done for your website, your search, as well as like your maps ads and things like that. Everyone talks about what's the latest, greatest social media strategy. Everybody gets enamored by things like TikTok and what they're doing, and they see it, and then they get sucked into this hole and they have no idea where they're at. But the biggest thing on social these days has been video. Very powerful. Nobody wants to read your 1,500-word blog post. They want to be entertained a little bit, but they also want to get quick hits. So what I always say with social strategies is if you're not focusing on video, you're missing out. Now the types of videos, this is always the big question. You want to have at least one longer video. And by long, I only mean about 3 to 5 minutes. You don't need something that's a 30-minute presentation. You can get to that, and those are absolutely viable in certain industries, but to capture somebody's attention, you're going to get about less than 3 seconds. So your intro and everything needs to be pretty powerful. But leveraging those videos in a social media strategy has been bringing the biggest bang for anybody's buck here in 2023. Some of the biggest mistakes that you see right now in social media marketing, where people are focusing their energies in wrong spots. It's not necessarily the worst thing to do a TikTok channel and put content out there, but is that where your audience is? Your social media, your content, and your ads, along with your website and everything else, these all work in conjunction nowadays. It can't just be one standalone thing. So if you're doing video, for example, you need to have a YouTube channel, focus in on that. You're also going to put those videos on Facebook, Instagram, and then if you want, you can also leverage TikTok, LinkedIn, and all the other social media channels. But all of those things should amplify what your core message is, number one, and number two, should amplify what's working best for you in your marketing efforts. So for example, if you're a plastic surgeon or a dentist is a great one too, and you still use postcard direct mail marketing and it's working for you, well, your video and your other content should focus in on amplifying that. So how do you do that? One of the things that we've seen is, ever since the pandemic, the reemergence of QR codes, right? So if you're getting really good returns on a certain marketing, we'll use direct mail again in this example, you can put a QR code on there and ask people to go there, and that's where your content could be. It could take them to your website with a video, it could take them to social media, but everything should work in conjunction. And I think that's one of the biggest things strategy-wise where we see mistakes being made, where people are chasing after, like, we need to be on TikTok, we even need to be on Snapchat, we need to be here, we need to be there. And that's not necessarily the case. Do you need to have a presence everywhere? Yeah, you do. But at the same time, the content pieces should amplify the marketing that's working for you best right now.